So good of you to come. We've begun to run short on friends around here, but you probably. Good evening. I would offer you a refreshment, but I fear you might become suspicious.
Hello everybody, today we're restoring this Gemmy life-size animated Graves the Butler. His head does turn. I think the gear just completely gave out when I recorded that before clip, so you know, it was pretty rough to begin with, as you saw from my demo short here on YouTube from before he was repaired. So we're going to go ahead and start the repairs now, and the first thing I am going to do is replace the split gear in the neck, the head turning. The gear is splitting for the eyes, so I'm probably going to go ahead and change that too. And while I'm in there, may as well change the one for his mouth, even though it seems to be doing okay for the time being. But yeah, let's get into it. And I did take his tray and hand off right now, just because there's really no need to have it on. It's just gonna get in the way while I'm doing this. All right, so I currently have Graves in the collapse position to make this just a little bit more easier. The first thing I have to do, and I've done a few of these repair videos before, and there's plenty of others on YouTube, so I'm sure most of you know the process. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws there. I gotta take out, which I believe I have the right size drill bit in. Let's see. Yes, I do. So, go ahead and take these 4 out. Oh, missed that one. And then you want to put these screws in a safe space. You don't want to go ahead and lose them. So I'm going to go ahead and just try to leave them, I guess, like that for now, inside the little bracket still. Next step is to take that center screw out. Just be very careful of this jack here. You don't want to bend it, crack it, or really touch it. You know, you don't know how fragile it is over the years. It looks like it's pretty good. The plastic is still in pretty good shape, but still. That ensures proper connection for his head animation and lighting. That piece comes off, and then there's 1, 2, 3 screws right there that you want to take apart. These ones I'm going to need a bit of a smaller drill bit for, so I'm going to use this little electric screwdriver that I got at Walmart a couple years ago actually, and it's still doing really good. It has a USB-C charger. Screw's a little stripped there. There was something in it, looked like a piece of tape or glue. Probably that piece of paper they have right there. I thought it was always really funny that Gemmy would glue wires down with paper on the end. I mean, you know, smart, but just interesting. And then we'll take these 3 screws out. All right, and you don't want to lose any of the screws. Like I said, I have a little case that has extra screws in from so many things I've scrapped for parts, or screws I found that I might have accidentally forgot to put in something. But if you don't have any, you definitely don't want to lose these. And sometimes when you're taking this little piece apart, I have this little pick tool I'm using to pry this up. Sometimes a lot of the gears want to come with it. Sometimes they stay in place. We'll see what it's going to be like today. A lot of the gears came with it, but not too bad. All right, that is a little split gear right there. Oh, that was probably one of the worst things that could happen. So that sucks. I'll find that in a bit. I'm gonna replace the gear first. I thought this would be comical for you guys. I'm gonna use this to get that piece I just dropped in there. I don't know if you can see it, it's down at the very, very bottom. So we're gonna use this little picker upper. Hopefully we can fit it in there. And try to grab it. It's a little hard to do while recording. Oh, that's pretty deep in there. I'm probably gonna have to lift him up or go into the pant leg or something. Okay, so we got the other piece out. I actually had to end up lifting him to full height, and then it fell down his pant leg. I have repaired a ton of these Gemmy life sizes, and that has never happened to me, but it was comical, but yet it was also kind of annoying, because, like, what the heck? All right, so I'm trying to basically pry this little gear off here. Shouldn't be too hard, considering it is split. Yeah, I ended up getting it with my fingers. There it is. I believe it's a 10-tooth. We'll go ahead and grab a replacement quick. All right, so the new gear is on.
I say, you are looking wonderful this evening. But then again, I say a lot of things.
So it's lubed up very well, and a lot of like particles from inside him or whatnot are kind of on the gears. I'm going to clean those off a little bit before I put the plate back on, but I don't want to take any of the lubricant off. All right, head's working a lot better.
Care for something? I highly recommend you first ensure it has been properly prepared. Touch it and see if it moves.
Now, as you can see, or here, I should say, there is a split gear in the eyes. So I gotta go ahead and repair that. Alright, so I went ahead and I took the screws out of the head off camera. Just figured there wasn't really much to see. From what I noticed on this plate though, there is a bit of a cracking starting right there. Which, this is actually very common with the early Gemmy life sizes. Like, if you ever notice, it's almost impossible to find a 2005 Freddy Krueger that even still has this whole piece, let alone that isn't cracking. It must just be a thin, cheap plastic that they used. It cracks very easily. I think the most difficult part will be getting inside the mechanisms and taking this is like it's not latex, it's a type of rubber, like a vinyl, I believe. Which is a good thing they didn't use latex. And then here's the inside of his head. I'm just going to replace the mouth gear and the eye gear since we're already in here. As you can hear that the eye gear is quite loud, which means it is splitting, and you know, it's loud and obnoxious, and then that just means it'll stop working over time. And then I figured I may as well replace the mouth gear while I'm already in here. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, we are now inside Graves' head. And because of the just absolute size of his head and the mask being skin tight, I did have to cut a slit up the back. Some of them you don't have to, like with Jason or Freddy Krueger. I mean, not the 05 Freddy Krueger. I've never repaired one of those before, so I don't know. But this one, it just was not really possible, at least it seemed to me, without having to cut a slit in the back of the head. And it is glued to the front of the mouth, so I haven't touched anything on the face. It's going to stay glued to the face. When I do put the back skull here back on, I will make sure this is glued nice and tight so that you can almost barely see the slit as much as possible. Anyway, it was either that or just, you know, have it until it gives out, and then, you know, what are you going to do? Just never repair it? I mean, you know, if somebody could get it off without having to cut it on a Graves the Butler, then kudos to you, but I did not foresee it being possible for me. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and start getting into these mechanisms. All right, we got the eye mechanism out, and looks like it has one of those motors that should just slide out, but it was probably had some sort of adhesive put into it, and it's gonna be a little hard to get out, and I don't want to break the motor and then have to either fix it or replace it. So I'm just gonna do it the more difficult way, if you will, which to me this is the least difficult way, because like I said, if I try to pry that motor out and it rips the motor apart or anything, and I have to look for a replacement, and if I don't have one I have to fix the motor, that's just too much work. I'd rather just take the whole gearbox apart, because it's not one of those motors that's screwed in. It might be screwed in from the inside, I don't know actually. The last time I replaced a gear in one of these eye mechanisms was for the Gemmy Brain Monster, and I really don't remember how it was, and even then they could have changed it within a few years' time, so who knows. I just really hate if all the gears fall out, which, holy crap, we got lucky. Motor is screwed in. Good thing I didn't try to pry it, huh? Alright, alright, and that shaft is still on there. Good. Alright, so this gear should come out easy peasy. Wow, look at that. Literally no force whatsoever. Let me go ahead and get a replacement gear. Alright, Graves' eyes actually take a 9-tooth gear, which I don't remember, like I said, if all the Gemmy life sizes do for their IMAX or not. They probably do. I thought it was 10, but I do have a 9-tooth gear. I only have like a couple left, so good thing for that. And then hardest part is always getting the new gear back on, because it's such a tight squeeze, tight fit. So what I usually do is I get it on the first half there, and I'll use like the back end of a screwdriver or something to try to push it on all the way. Which we got it on a little bit there. I don't know if it's enough to make contact with this gear or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this darker colored gear out. It's like a manila colored, just to see if it makes contact or if we have to get it on further. So set that down. I didn't mean to drop it down. Oops. I bet all those gears just came flying out. That they did. Good thing I recorded to know what order they go in, huh? Boy, what is with me dropping mechanisms and everything today? Holy crap. One. Make sure I got them all. Alright. Good lord. Keep dropping things today. Got the gear on a little bit more. So the order they go in is actually this middle gear goes in first, upside down. Like I said, I did have to go back and look at the footage I took, which is a good thing I was recording. Otherwise, I mean, it's only 2 gears, so I would have figured it out eventually. But and then this manila colored gear goes on right there, makes contact with the motor shaft, and then the middle one, and then finally, last but not least, this one also goes in upside down like that, which then they make contact with the square shaft. So we're going to go ahead and put this back together. Sorry about that, guys. I ran out of space on my phone. I was saying the only thing that I'm not particularly a fan of when it comes to repairing these life sizes is then to test the head and the motors and the gears and everything. You put the head back on, or at least put it over by the life size, plug the connection back in. It can be kind of a pain sometimes, getting up and down and doing that, or it's just my laziness speaking, you know, what have you. Oh, there goes another thing I have dropped today, another screw. Let's play how much longer till I lose my patience. That's the thing, it's like with repairing these, is you could have the most simple repairs. Oh, I've done that 100 times. You know, it'll go 1, 2, 3. And sometimes it does, but you have times where it's just little inconveniences like that, where you keep dropping stuff. You gotta put the gears back in, drop the whole neck plate in the body. You know, it happens. It's all right. All right, last screw to get in, and then we'll put the iMech back in and go right over to working on the mouth. Okay, the last screw to get in for the eye mechanism. Come on, get in there. There we go. All right. We did get the mouthpiece out. It shouldn't really need to be re-glued because, like I said, his mask is a very, very tight squeeze. So this should move it as much as possible. So the only thing to do now is get this piece off, which it looks to me like this is a clip, or this is clipped in here. And then there's screws here to keep that other end of the mouth plate on. Of course, the end with the spring, which is the end that I would prefer to not have to take off, but you know, so be it. There we go. And drop the screw. You guys surprised? I'm not. There it is in there on me. Okay. All right, need a more powerful one. There we go. All right. Okay, so a little bit off camera, I took the mouth apart and whatnot. Took the spring off here and, you know, the whole mouth mechanism piece and whatnot. I got a new 10-tooth gear. That's what his mouth takes, and that's what we're going to go ahead and install right now. I'll probably drop it. There we go. Perfect. And then the new gear, which also goes downward like this. All right. So then we go ahead and put the top piece back on. All right. And then just screw that all together. I'm not going to show you me screwing every single screw back here back together. That'd be pretty boring, I imagine. But when I do get to putting the rest of the mechanism back together, the recording will commence. All right, so now to put the mouth back on, honestly, I can't remember how it goes. All right, so it goes like that, and then this piece goes right here. So this slides on, should be upward, so slides on like that. Beautiful. And then the spring, which I did take a picture so that I would remember, but I ended up remembering anyway. That goes in the middle slot. So that's enough tension to close the mouth, but not too much to where the mouth won't open. And we go ahead and slide the spring under there. I'm making sure it's in there properly, and it seems to be giving me a bit of trouble, but I can't see why it wouldn't. See how it goes? There we go. That's exactly how we want it. And then this goes over here. Slides right back into this piece right here. I hope you guys enjoy these repair videos. If you do, comment down below. I know a lot of people said that they do, and you know, honestly, that means a lot to me. It really does. But if you do enjoy these videos, let me know why you enjoy them, what you'd like to see me do different. And if you don't already know, I do have a TikTok, and I post a lot of repairs on TikTok. More so what I like to call in a TikTok format. So if you aren't following my TikTok, comment down below and I will respond back with a link to it. Perfect. And like I said, I do a lot more TikTok format. Actually, I was really wondering how I should do a restoration video of this guy, if I should do it just for TikTok or if I should do it for YouTube. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do a YouTube repair video instead. I do like how they're more in-depth. Oh, what the heck am I doing? I got to put this piece on first. Ah, there go the screws. Dropping stuff again. How did they... What the heck? I can't remember how the heck this went. Like that. There we go. Alright. It's back on. Like I said, I don't think I need to glue the mouth. The mask is a tight squeeze as it is. So, alright, now we just go ahead and screw this all back together. Alright folks, sorry about that. I kind of ran out of space on my phone, so I went ahead and I got him all repaired. I got his mask back on, and I glued the seam in the back. Like I said, I did not glue the mouth inside the mouthpiece just because the mask is so tight. I feel like it doesn't need it. But anyway, here he is.
As I understand it, the master is indisposed at the moment. Please be patient, as it's quite difficult to dispose of certain things these days.
I will say I've noticed that his suit, when you have it velcroed all the way up to the neck, it interferes the head movement, which is why it's not moving a ton, as opposed to if I were to have the suit unvelcroed, but then it would just look silly.
Please, take one of my treats here. True, they are bad for your health. But then again, so is upsetting me.
And you could barely hear any of the mechanisms now that the gears aren't splitting. Well, he's looking right at us.
So good of you to come. We've begun to run short on friends around here. But you, probably.
His unfinished phrase.
Good evening. I would offer you a refreshment, but I fear you might become suspicious.
Alright, that's him. Thank you guys for watching.